You're watching the show that puts Mid-Michigan news in focus. This is Focal Point.
It is good to be in East Lansing. It's good to be with all of you here today.
Coming up on Focal Point, we have all-access coverage of President Barack Obama's first visit to MSU as the nation's president.
Coming up on Focal Point, President Obama came to East Lansing to sign the Farm Bill, and we talked to local farmers to find out what this bill means to them.
Focal Point starts now.
Good evening, I'm Mara Thompson.
And I'm Connor Wilton. Welcome to Focal Point. Barack Obama made his first presidential visit to East Lansing last Friday to sign the Farm Bill, which will have major implications for the agricultural industry across the nation. Air Force One touched down at Capital Region International Airport shortly after noon. He was accompanied by U.S. Senators Debbie Stabenow and Carl Levin, and then greeted by Lansing Mayor Verge Bernero. The president spent a few minutes chatting before heading to the Mary Ann McPhail Equine Center on MSU's campus to make a speech and sign the bill. The Agricultural Act of 2014 is the formal name for the Farm Bill, which has taken 3 years to get through Congress. Focal Point's Kevin Burrows was on campus for the president's visit and tells us what this means for everyone, not just farmers.
President Barack Obama became the fourth sitting president to ever visit MSU.
Go Green!
He came here to sign the historic Farm Bill, which will spread out benefits to farmers across the United States.
There you go. So we've got to restore the idea of opportunity for all people. The idea that no matter who you are, what you look like, where you came from, how you started out, what your last name is, you can make it.
Bio-based manufacturing.
Senator Debbie Stabenow is chairwoman of the Senate Agriculture Committee. She helped broker the deal, which took 3 years to get through Congress.
Made sure that family farms are protected and small businesses are protected.
Any farm bill I sign must
Obama said the
include
wide-ranging
protections for
bill
vulnerable Americans
multitasked to help
and
boost
thanks to the
jobs,
work of Debbie and
innovation,
others.
research, and conservation.
Now, despite its name, the Farm Bill is not just about helping farmers. Secretary Vilsack calls it a jobs bill, an innovation bill, an infrastructure bill, a research bill, a conservation bill. It's like a Swiss Army knife.
And the president says that the
Yeah,
Farm
it's
Bill
like,
will push
Mike
close to
Trout.
$3 trillion in America's agriculture economy.
Today,
After his brief
is
speech
that
to an audience of nearly
those
400,
at the very top
Obama
of the-
moved to the ceremonial desk to sign the bill with congressional colleagues looking on.
President Barack Obama just signed the Farm Bill here at Michigan State University, and he said that this bill will ensure crop insurance for all farmers and will also provide families with healthy food on their table.
will also benefit
Cherry
from the
farmer Ben
research
Cross said
investments
in the
this
previous
Farm Bill.
Farm Bill, his crops
Many
could
of
not
those
be
projects-
insured.
So that gives me as a producer a risk management tool to help in a year where we have a weather disaster. I'm able to buy a crop insurance policy just to help with the risk management aspect.
The president was here for only an hour, but those in attendance hope his visit will make a long-lasting impact. For Focal Point, I'm Kevin Burrows.
Many outside the farming industry wondered why he chose to sign it here at MSU. Even though Michigan Senator Debbie Stabenow authored the bill, it was more than just a favor to her.
To be in East Lansing, it's good to be
With the
with all
stroke
you
of
here
his
today.
pen, the deal was done. President Barack Obama signed the 2014 Farm Bill into law.
There you go.
The new law affects the entire nation, but Obama's trip to Michigan acknowledges that this bill is especially important for Michiganders.
Our Senator Debbie Stabenow has worked so hard on the Farm Bill.
As the chairwoman of the Senate Agricultural Committee, Michigan Senator Debbie Stabenow authored the bill and worked for 3 years to push it through Congress.
Thanks to a whole lot of hard work, we've arrived at a farm bill that works for every American.
And the bill being signed here at Michigan State University is more than just a respectful nod to Senator Stabenow's alma mater. Michigan State University, formerly Michigan Agricultural College, was established as the Pioneer Land Grant College, which meant the government could grant land for research and teaching in agriculture.
The agricultural background that this institution has, its connection to a lot of the policies that are in this bill are one of the reasons why the president's here in East Lansing.
But Michigan's success in agriculture might have been the biggest reason for Obama to sign it here.
We're second only to California in diversity. Our dairy industry is the 8th largest dairy industry in the nation. The productivity of our dairy cows in Michigan is 5th in the nation. So there's so much to be proud of in this state, and it's, you know, we're getting a day news around the world, and this is great.
Thank you, President Barack Obama.
During his time in Michigan, President Obama also took a chance to look at the biotechnology development. The president took time to tour MSU's Michigan Biotechnology Institute along with Agriculture Secretary Tom Vilsack. President Obama and Secretary Vilsack both donned goggles to see firsthand the research being done on plant byproducts. These byproducts will be used as an alternative source for food and fuel for livestock in a more energy-efficient way. President Obama was impressed with the work being done here at Michigan. Although the event at the Equine Center wasn't open to the public, that didn't stop dozens of folks on campus from finding a way to participate.
Focal Point's Nick Blaskowski joins us now for more on the hoopla surrounding the president's arrival.
That's right. Bitter cold wind chills couldn't keep spectators away from trying to get a glimpse of the presidential motorcade and a chance for a lifetime memory. It was no ordinary day here as throngs of people gathered, hoping to catch a glimpse of the president while trying not to catch a cold.
It was really rough. Yeah.
Made some sense.
Yeah.
Wanted to see Obama.
With the president's route from the airport to campus an unknown, crowds could only speculate on where might be the best spot to watch for the presidential motorcade. But ultimately, they were able to follow the lead of Secret Service agents and police who began to put up barriers on the corner of Wilson and Bogue Streets. From patrols on the ground, to the tops of campus buildings, to even choppers overhead, security was extremely tight all day. The MSU K-9 team did their part to chip in as well. I'm outside here as the crowd is starting to gather for the motorcade of President Obama to come on through. What do you think about President Obama's visit today?
Well, we're really happy that he's here coming to campus. We're even more excited that he's acting on climate. There's a lot of provisions in the Farm Bill that support Michigan's agricultural heritage. A lot of farmers have been hurt by extreme weather patterns, and some of the emergency assistance will help protect our Great Lakes way of life.
Others were not as happy, treating the president's visit as an opportunity to protest against such issues as affordable health care and unemployment.
The students here are having a increased debt, a federal government. They have increased student loan debt and no promise of jobs when they graduate. I think he needs to answer to that.
Those who toughed out the cold temps were rewarded as the presidential motorcade finally came through campus, a scene that likely happens every day somewhere, becoming a lifetime memory for those on hand to witness it.
It was super exciting being here. As cold as it is, it was like a piece of history being able to see the president, like only second president to come here, so it's definitely sweet to be part of history.
For Focal Point, I'm Nick Blaskowski.
Definitely a historic day here in East Lansing. Well, up next, we'll share with you the latest updates from the Cedar Village shooting just off Michigan State's campus.
And with the recent H1N1 outbreak, we'll tell you how you can remain flu-free.
They've been called leaders, lifesavers, and world changers. They're also called Spartans. There are moments of triumph, of discovery, and achievement. But what makes these moments possible? It's the early mornings, the late nights. It's having the will to persevere. So let's take a moment to celebrate. But more importantly, let's salute the will it takes to get there. Spartans will.
Last month, many MSU students and East Lansing residents were on edge after they received a text message alerting them to a shooting near campus.
And East Lansing police are still investigating the incident. Police responded at about 9 o'clock p.m. to a report of a shooting on January 31st. Two 20-year-old students were found injured inside their apartment in Cedar Village, just off MSU's campus. 20-year-old Dominic Nolf died at the hospital from multiple gunshot wounds. His roommate Corbin Hawardo was treated for a single gunshot wound and released shortly after. In this surveillance footage obtained by the ELPD, the suspect is seen walking in and out of the apartment complex. Anyone with information about the shooting is asked to call the ELPD Detective Bureau at 517-319-6884. An investigation is underway into what went wrong during the Board of Water and Light's response to power outages after an ice storm hit in late December. Focal Point's Nick Blaskowski tells us why no matter what the Lansing BWL is doing to try to smooth things over, customers are still fuming.
Why do such liars? When the captain abandons the ship, even if the crew saves the ship, that captain has absolutely no right whatsoever to resume command.
My life was turned upside down.
It was a long month of January for BWL General Manager Peter Lark. Hundreds of customers turned out for a series of community forums. One by one, they were given the chance to vent about the company's response during ice storm outages. Not only did the customers voice their displeasure at the BWL, but also ruffled the feathers of one another.
You know something? You're really upsetting.
With several more weeks of a cold winter on the way, this 125-year-old utility is still feeling the heat. The Board of Water and Light is doing what it can to win back the trust of customers, including writing a letter of apology.
BWL spokesperson says all of the feedback it receives won't fall on deaf ears as it reviews its crisis plan moving forward. State Representative Sam Singh of East Lansing says he's pleased an independent review of the BWL's response is underway.
There's a variety of different ways that they need to communicate better in a crisis like this, and I'm hoping that they will take the lessons learned from this and implement them.
Singh sent a letter to the Lansing City Council and Mayor Verge Bonero asking for a charter amendment, allowing communities in the service area such as East Lansing to have more representation.
I think this is a great way and opportunity for us to show regional support for the utility, but also regain vital community trust from the region.
In the meantime, BWL says 1,800 customers have received a $25 credit for being without power and an additional $5 for each day they were out. For Focal Point, I'm Nick Blaskowski.
If you're looking for further information about your bill or still have questions about getting prepared for the next storm, you can visit them online at lbwl.com.
President Obama was all the talk last weekend, but Governor Rick Snyder took the spotlight earlier last month, delivering his fourth State of the State address in Lansing. He spoke about immigration, education, public safety, and tax relief, in addition to other issues. Speaking to a joint session of the legislature at the Capitol, Snyder also boasted that violent crime was down in cities across Michigan after the launch of the state's new public safety initiative. Snyder talked about initiatives for early education and underperforming schools, but some Democrats were still disappointed about budget cuts to higher education stemming from his first year in office.
Well, I was hoping that he was going to talk more about higher education, also investment in communities. I know during his conversation around the surplus, I was hoping that these areas that we've cut dramatically over the last 5 years would at least warrant a mention, and I was disappointed that we didn't hear that.
The more money that you invest in education, making it available to students, the more prosperity you have as a state, the less reliance on government, the higher the salaries are. That is economic development, and that's what we should be doing.
Governor Snyder also recently announced his run for a second term.
Martin Luther King's birthday is a second chance for many to commemorate his fight for civil rights. With classes canceled on MSU's campus January 20th, members of Alpha Phi Alpha fraternity taught a lesson of their own with their annual march and celebration. I was there to capture all the day's sights and sounds.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is an honor to stand before you today and commemorate the great achievements, revolution, and the fight for justice Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. accomplished.
Ready? We're here to celebrate, the life and the legacy of brother Dr. Martin Luther King. And, pretty much this march is to show our appreciation and our love for everything that he's done for us and the way and the path that he's paved for all of us African Americans today.
I still have a dream. It is a dream deeply rooted in the American dream. I have a dream that one day this nation will rise up and live out the true meaning of its creed. We hold these truths to be self-evident and that all men are created equal.
Dr. King had a dream. The dream was steeped in reality, that the future could be better, and only with enlightened, sharp, energetic, talented minds that we have in front of us can it go forward. So I say to you, we all can be free at last, but you're going to have to carry your part of it.
This year was the first time Alpha Phi Alpha opened their march to the public. Plans to revamp Trowbridge Plaza in East Lansing have halted after a negative response from the community. Developers plan to construct new student apartments on the site and give the old plaza a facelift with new exteriors. However, the controversy over the removal of the local grocery store Goodrich's and the building of student apartment complexes in residential neighborhoods may have led to the decision for developers to ultimately drop the project. But for now, they remain quiet on their next move.
Flu season is in full swing, and the H1N1 strain is causing major issues, prompting the question, should people still take the flu shot? Focal Point's Tia Graham has the answers.
H1N1 is one of the strains of flu that are prevalent this year in Michigan.
Says Paul Hamberly, General Manager of Advanced Clinical Pharmacy, and that this year's flu symptoms are more intense than previous years.
It's a particularly nasty strain of flu. It has a lot of symptoms with GI symptoms, stomach upset, high fever, muscle aches.
And if that wasn't enough,
it's hitting kids as well as college students, adults, and then seniors are particularly vulnerable this year.
This year's flu season has already taken the lives of at least 10 people in the state of Michigan. But Kristen Hendrickson of the Ingham County Health Department says this year's flu vaccine helps fight against the deadly H1N1 strain.
The flu vaccine that we have this year, it's a very good match for the strains that are circulating right now. And so it really is a good form of protection. But the thing to remember with the flu shot is that it takes a couple weeks to kick in. And so you want to get it now.
And for those who don't want to take the flu shot?
It isn't just about you. It's your classmates, your teachers, your friends, your family, people you live with, your roommates. So it's not just protecting you, it's protecting all of them.
The most important thing to do is to get a flu shot as soon as possible. For Focal Point, I'm Tia Graham.
This year's flu vaccine can be found at several local pharmacies.
After the break, Tia Graham will tell us all about the new football recruits at MSU.
And we'll show you highlights from the men's basketball win over Northwestern.
There are moments of triumph, of discovery, and achievement. But what makes these moments possible? It's the early mornings, the late nights. It's having the will to persevere. So let's take a moment to celebrate. But more importantly, let's salute the will it takes to get there. Spartans will.
When I was green, green-eyed on a hill, where flowers grew and the sun shone still. Now I'm dark-eyed in the deepest sea. Just hand me down, give me a place to be.
Before talking about the Farm Bill last Friday, President Obama found time to meet with head coaches Tom Izzo and Mark D'Antonio. He mentioned the two coaches in his speech and talked about the successes at MSU, including athletics.
I am also here to do some scouting on my brackets. I just talked to Coach Izzo. Spartans are looking pretty good. I know things were a little wild for a while, had some injuries. But the truth is that Coach Izzo, you know, he always paces so that you peak right at the tournament. That's the fact. Then I got a chance to meet Mark D'Antonio, right? So you've already got a Rose Bowl victory. You guys you're greedy. You want to win everything.
Signing day is over, and the recent Rose Bowl champs have more reasons to celebrate. MSU head football coach Mark D'Antonio spoke to the media about incoming recruits for next season. MSU is among the best recruiting classes in the nation, ranking number 4 behind Florida State, Alabama, and Oregon. 5-star defensive end Malik McDowell committed to MSU on signing day, but McDowell and family announced that they will be taking unofficial visits to other universities. The new recruits are joining an MSU team that's ranked 3rd in the nation. Hundreds of Michigan State students and fans electrified the Breslin Center for ESPN's College Game Day earlier this month before the Michigan game. Izzo members filled the lower bowl quickly, eager to get themselves on national television. Longtime ESPN analysis and fan favorite Digger Phelps came out to fire up the Izzo prior to the show. However, the cheers quickly shifted to boos as former Wolverine Jalen Rove arrived on set. MSU greats Mateen Cleaves and Morris Peterson joined current Spartans Gary Harris, Adrian Payne, and Keith Appling for a special segment, while the Harlem Globetrotters also made a special cameo appearance. Despite the early wake-up call, the event was a great experience for the students and fans.
You know, getting up early was pretty rough, can't lie, but man, this crowd's been absolutely unbelievable. They've been awesome. The fact they've been able to sustain energy like this for close to 2 hours now, it's going to be so great once we actually get the game started. I can't wait for how loud it's going to get in here.
The crowd was rowdy and loud for the entire show, setting the tone for the rivalry showdown later that night. The MSU men's basketball team moved back atop the Big Ten standings. The Spartans defeated the Northwestern Bobcats 85-70 at home yesterday, despite Keith Appling and Brandon Dawson being out with injury. The Spartans had little problems with the Wildcats. Adrian Payne's play was main reason for the MSU success, finishing the game with 20 points and 14 rebounds. Despite missing over a month with a foot injury, Payne hasn't missed a beat, returning, scoring 56 points in the past 3 games. Coach Tom Izzo has even been more surprised by Payne's dominance.
It's amazing. I'm amazed, though, that his conditioning. Here's a kid that 2-3 years ago, you know, couldn't get up and down the floor more than 15, 18 minutes a game, and now he's carrying our team. And
the Spartans will look to continue their winning ways this Sunday when they face Nebraska at the Breslin. Michigan State women's softball team took their first swings of the spring on February 7th in the Sunshine State. The team warmed up their arms and got to enjoy some warm Florida weather, starting their season off with a loss against Stetson, with second versus Stetson being canceled due to rainy weather. MSU made a comeback against Rhode Island, winning both their games with shutouts. The Olympics are underway in Sochi, and we hit the streets to find out how safe people feel attending the games in Russia this winter.
Well, I know we're sending a lot of troops over, and I know Russia has, like, I think 65,000 troops there.
It's a little unnerving that it's 250 miles from Chechnya, which is a local terrorist group.
My concern obviously would be for the athletes' safety.
Just the fact that we need to have 2 naval ships right outside of Sochi is pretty scary.
I think it's good for us to have a lot of safety around there. We want our people and, you know, every other nation to have good safety of their competitors.
I wouldn't go. I know Russia's not a safe country to go to right now, especially since it's going to be so close to the Middle East.
As an athlete, I would go to compete, but as a bystander watching, I'd probably maybe wait another few years to go to a safer place.
Honestly, if I was given the chance and I didn't have to pay to go, I would definitely go. I know it's dangerous and stuff, but I guess I'm a little naive in thinking that I would be safe anyway.
I had read a comment from one of the hockey players on America's team, and he actually told his friends and family not to try to go because of the safety issues, because we're so uncertain about what's going to happen.
And that's what's happening in sports. I'm Tia Graham.
Thanks, Tia. Well, MSU Chinese students joined together on February 2nd to help celebrate the Lunar New Year. The Chinese undergraduate students and the Chinese Students and Scholars Association put together the 3rd annual event at the Wharton Center to celebrate the Year of the Horse and a New Year celebration with more than 4,000 years of history.
This Chinese Lunar New Year, which we can celebrate in MSU, is a great opportunity for the people who come from China, and we can have a time to get together and to celebrate our festival.
One of the most traditional and important celebrations for Chinese people, this event unites all Chinese students and promotes good fortune and awareness of the Chinese culture.
That's our show for tonight. We leave you now with sounds from the MSU Wind Symphony. Next weekend, they take the stage at the famous Carnegie Hall.
Good night.